Omar, good.
Thanks. Appreciate you guys all being here. As you guys know, we drafted Troy Fautanu. Excited to have him as a member of this organization. He's a Steeler. We spent a great deal of time with him. We met with Troy at the Combine. Pat Myers attended his pro day. We had him in here for a 30 visit, and like I said, we're excited to have him here, and can't wait for the rookie camp to see him here.
Does he stick it left or does he?
1 second here, let's
I'm
coach.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Really excited about Troy, as Omar said. Man, the tape was just really, really impressive. Not only in terms of his talents, but really, I think his talents were really highlighted by the way that Washington utilized his talent schematically. Man, you saw everything that you wanted to see. You saw him out in space in the perimeter game, be it crack toss or wide receiver screens. He was great in the run game. He was a great drop back passer, pass protector. We had great visits through the process. We went to Tuscaloosa, obviously, to handle some Alabama business, but we had an opportunity to really talk to some people in Tuscaloosa that had some firsthand knowledge of his capabilities, the coaching staff, and he just checked every box. We're really excited to have him, and we'll pause and open it up for questions.
Does he stick at left tackle or do you try him on the right side?
Right now, he's a tackle. Maybe we'll have a little bit more detail for you in the morning.
Is he center capable?
No, we're not concerned about that. We legitimately see him as a tackle.
Omar, how much did it help that 6 quarterbacks were taken early, that the kind of draft fell your way?
Yeah, I'm sure that in the grand scheme of things, that definitely helped. Not just for us. I'm sure there are other teams that helped. But so we're excited to have him.
Omar, to that point, you had every corner on the board, many wide receivers on the board, every center on the board. Is there anything about your valuation of the tackle position that came into play in this equation as well? Is it just about the player?
Yeah, I would say that he was a player that we had rated really high up on the board, and he was one of the guys that we were hoping would be there and that we were targeting. And when he was, we were on the clock when we were at 19 and waiting to see what the Rams picked, and it was just we just felt really good about it. He's the player we wanted.
Mike, anything to add to that as far as the tackle position versus the others?
I think position aside, he was the highest rated guy on our board, and so that just speaks to our level of excitement about having an opportunity to get him.
Omar, as this went on, did you field any calls as far as the way it was dropping about maybe moving back or think about going up?
Yeah, I mean, the phone was ringing, obviously, to move up, move back. It's just part of it. And at the end of the day, we had the opportunity to move back if we wanted to. But when we were at 19 and waiting for the Rams to make their selection, and they picked who they picked, and we weren't gonna.
We weren't moving off Troy.
No.
You mentioned his tape being impressive, but when you guys met with him, what off the field impressed you?
His commitment to the game, his passion for the game really was very evident in communicating with him. That was relayed to us by those that had an opportunity to not only coach him, but we talked to a lot of guys that played with him. His passion is real. It is a calling card, coupled with his tremendous athletic talent.
Can you speak to you guys about his affection for Troy, the tattoo and everything? I'll talk about the other Troy, obviously.
Yeah, a lot of that.
Yeah.
I think his dad is the original Steeler fan in the household. But just, he's really excited to be here. We'll let him speak for himself. But he is just a very impressive young man. Upside, young guy in the draft pool, a lot of talent, passion for the game. We're just really excited.
Omar, when you took over a couple of years ago, I know Andy was even talking about building out the trenches, the offensive line. 2 years in, you pretty much did that. Why is that so important to you guys as an organization to have those guys up front? And that's where you started at that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's for obvious reason. That I've said it from the beginning. The offensive line, defensive line, those are big priorities. The big men, and that's where it starts, right? We want to be a physical football team, and it's got to start up there.
Mike, obviously most tackles check in at 6'4" or taller at this level. What is it about Troy that gives you the confidence he can do it, and are there other guys that he reminds you of who've done it at his size?
What are we talking about? You know, if he was a quarter of an inch taller, you might not be asking that. He's got great arm length, and his tape is very, very impressive. It's probably one of the reasons why he was available to us, so we really probably appreciate his stature, to be quite honest with you.
Omar, is it tough just to sit there and wait when you like this guy so much and thinking, maybe I need to move up 1 or 2?
Every one of those 10 minutes were the longest 10 minutes.
He is not kidding you either. He wore me out.
Is that doubly true whenever it's that many tackles that go in front of him?
Oh, absolutely, but and just because it's him, like Coach mentioned, he was really high on our board, and just hoping he'd still be there at 20, and yeah, it's glad, I don't even know what time it is right now, but 10:53, yeah, just, can't say enough about how excited we are to have him. This guy loves football, I can't wait for you guys to get the opportunity to talk.
Just turn the tape on.
Yeah, this guy loves it.
Omar, it seemed like it was really high on a lot of other people's boards earlier. There were some stories that came out about medical concern about his knee that might have bumped him down. Are you guys okay on that front with him?
We wouldn't select him if we weren't comfortable with it, and I can't speak for some of the stuff that's put out there and what's true and what's not, and what other people are saying, but, we're comfortable.
Like, how was that phone call? He seemed pretty emotional on screen.
I'm sorry?
He seemed pretty emotional. How was that phone call?
He was. We were laughing at him a little bit earlier because he looked angry because some tackles were coming off. But you want that. You want a guy that takes it personally, and I think that he does. He just shows all the signs of the type of guy that we want to do business with. It's important to him.
Obviously, y'all spoke about his on the field and off the field. Were there any other qualities that stood out to you regarding him?
I just think his relationship with the game is a pure one, man. He's a competitor. He loves football. He loves the things that come with football based on talking to those around him, the preparation things, the training, practice. He's a black and gold type of a guy.
I know you guys talked about, sorry, go ahead.
He's a great teammate also.
I know you guys talked about sort of the pre-draft process, but maybe early in the process, I don't know if it was during college football season or whatever, but do you remember anything about how he first got on your radar? I know Washington played a lot of good games, and maybe how you first got interested in him.
Yeah, our scouts early on, they felt really good about him. Mark Bruner, he's a Washington alum. He's one of our scouts, and I joke with him. I think the only school he scouts is the University of Washington. He talks about those guys so often, but he was the guy we were intrigued by early on.
For me, watching them late in the season, just trying to, they were making a lot of noise out west as a collective, as a football team. And so I can remember laying in the hotel room watching them late one evening, and it was just really impressive schematically, the things that they were doing that highlighted his skills. Their perimeter game was very left-handed, and just watching it from a spectator's perspective, it just let you know that their left tackle was a special player in their eyes, just by play selection. Not very often do you watch tape and see plays being called to highlight a guy that's not ineligible, but that's what it looked like watching UW tape.
Anyone else? All right, we
Thanks,
will
guys.
have the press conference tomorrow at 4 o'clock here.